Grizz Nation, it's time to send Ja, Jaren, and Dez to the 2025 All-Star Game.
Oh! What did we just see, partner?
Take three! Take three!
Bane for three. Bingo!
This man Bane
Heating it up.
Blocked by Jaren.
most versatile power forward in the game today.
Head to NBA.com/vote, the NBA app, or simply use the QR code on the screen to send your Grizzlies to the All-Star Game today.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
On January 20th, join the Memphis Grizzlies as we honor the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This year, we honor those who have carried out his vision with the 20th Annual National Civil Rights Museum Sports Legacy Award. The 23rd Annual Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration Game versus the Minnesota Timberwolves is brought to you by Ford and your Mid-South Ford dealers.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right. I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish, speaking to you from Midtown Manhattan, New York City again. Bennett Doyle back in Memphis producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you get through the day best you can. And I hope you enjoy what was a fun game inside the Frost Bank Center last night. The Grizz scored 78 points in the second half, beat the Spurs by 14. Ja put Wemby on a poster. The rookies didn't do much, but it didn't matter. Nobody cared about that because, I don't know if you heard, Ja put Wemby on a poster, and you could take that whistle and shove it up your you know what. We don't care about whether it was blown or not. It makes for a nice highlight. We'll talk about it. We'll celebrate it. We'll enjoy it together momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. Mike Wallace, senior editor, Grind City Media. He was inside Frosty Bank last night for the Grizzlies' 26th win of the season. He's going to join me remotely. He'll be here in about 20 minutes. But I finished talking to Mike Wallace. Take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories, among them Penny Hardaway's Tigers back on the court tonight. They're in Philadelphia, going to play Temple. We'll get you ready for that. We'll do it in about 40 minutes. LIV Golf has a new television partner. Pretty big deal. I'll tell you who it is. We'll do that a little later on in the show. WWE announcer Corey Graves, he's upset. Says he thinks he got demoted because he's not as famous as Pat McAfee. Got inter-office drama in the WWE. I'll get Bennett's thoughts on that. We'll do that in the third segment. The previously mentioned Victor Wembanyama had a sweet jersey swap you might have saw with a young fan a few weeks ago. The story has taken a turn. Ben and I, we'll talk you through it. We'll do that in the second hour. And Amazon is dropping a program designed to help customers feel more comfortable shopping for clothes. Some folks are upset about it. I say get over it. Doesn't seem like a big deal to me. I'll give you the details during a segment we call 5 more things you need to know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carry out and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a whole bunch to get to, but I want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies, because game 41 of a scheduled 82 was played last night in San Antonio. It was a good night for the visitors from Memphis. Final score, Grizz 129, Spurs 115. And Big Bet Bennett, let's not bury the lead.
Okay.
The moment of the night, it came in the final 3 minutes after the game. It was already decided. The moment of the night didn't actually count, but around these parts, we ain't going to worry too much about that. By now, you've probably seen it. By now, I hope you've watched it like at least 40 times from every angle available. Either way, let's enjoy it together. Kyra, please fire up Ja Morant over Victor Wembanyama, the midweek Frosty Bank edition. Uh-oh, Bennett, look at that. Uh-oh, buddy. It looks good every angle. Slow it down. It gets better. That one. Just, Bennett, be honest with me. You're sitting at your little home. You got your eyes on your television. You're staring at the Frosty Bank. How loud did you yell when you saw Ja Morant put that on Victor Wembanyama inside the Frosty Bank?
Yeah, that was pretty good. I wish it would have counted like everybody else. You know, I think the irony of it, too, is that they actually – I think Ja even mentioned this in the postgame because he said he didn't hear the whistle, which – why would he hear the whistle? He never gets a call, and I just think it's hilarious that on
and nobody here heard the whistle because we didn't have the audio.
Yeah, and on that amazing dunk, I just think it's funny. Like the guy that never gets a call, they call a foul, and he doesn't get to have that moment. But whatever.
Well, he did make a point in the locker room to say, I didn't hear the whistle because I never hear whistles when I drive. So it was a little shot at the lack of calls in recent weeks that has become, I guess, somewhat of a topic of conversation. Whether he heard the whistle or not, it still creates a fun moment. The reason it went viral last night is because it created a fun moment. I know our buddy Michael Lees was having fun on SportsCenter last night talking about once the whistle blows, the play is over. That's not even a real thing that happened. I don't even know if you watched SportsCenter last night. Tell me how you feel about this, Bennett. I don't know if you watched SportsCenter last night.
I did.
They do top 10 plays every night, right? And I said, okay, let's go. Who's going to be number 4? Who's going to be number 2? But I know who's going to be number 1. That's Ja Morant over Victor Wembanyama. Would you believe that top 10 plays did not have Ja over Wemby at all? Not number 10, not number 1, not anywhere in between. And the reason is because they said technically it's not a play. Technically, it's not a play. It didn't happen. The whistle was blown. Once the whistle's blown, it's not a play. Like, Saquon Barkley could make the best run ever, but if it happens after the whistle's blown, it's not a play. It's just something that happened while a game was not happening. How you feel about that, Bennett? Because that's what happened last night. That's where some people took it.
Well, but then they did a segment on the dunk and explained why. Mike Leaves did, our Monday guest, Mike Leaves did. Which
Can't wait to talk to him on Monday.
Yeah. I think we have a Tim McMahon situation on our hands because people are saying that he can't come on the show anymore after downplaying the Ja dunk on SportsCenter last night.
When did people get in charge? When did people get in charge of who comes on the show? Tell me about that.
No, I watched the segment, and I don't know. I think you could put it. I think you could put it in the top 10. What are the rules of the top 10? They got some kind of rules of what constitutes rules. Top 10.
I think they have rules. Just like any of us have our own rules. You draw your lines wherever you draw your lines. That's where Michael Eaves decided to draw the line last night. Ja Morant was driving to the rim. An official blew a whistle. And the play's dead right there. Whatever happened after that, you can keep the cameras rolling if you want to, but whatever happened after that is something that happened after the game was stopped. Therefore, it's not a play. That's what Michael Eaves would tell you. That's what he's going to try to tell you on Monday. How about this? When Michael Eaves tries to tell you that on Monday, what are you going to say?
I'm going to say that y'all don't have some kind of like criteria that holds you to what can be a top 10 play or not. So you should have put it in the top 10.
And he's going to say, I'll play Michael Lees for a second. I'll play devil's advocate for a second. Yeah. And he's going to say, Bennett, with all due respect, I don't think you've ever hosted SportsCenter. I don't think you've ever produced SportsCenter. I don't think you've ever been in a SportsCenter pre-show meeting. You don't have any idea what we do and what is our criteria. So who are you to tell me what goes on at SportsCenter? I don't know if you know, I'm the host of SportsCenter, and you're not.
Well, my response to that would be, okay, do whatever you want, but I disagree. I don't know. I mean, what do you want me to say to that?
Okay, you just go sit at home. with your beer to disagree. That's fine. I'll be on SportsCenter,
Okay.
and you'll be at home in your beer
Great.
disagreeing. Fine.
Great.
I think you just lost this argument with Michael Weeds. You're going to have to get better before Monday. You're going to have to come stronger on Monday, or this is going to go terribly for you.
Yeah, I guess so.
I am for show it as many times as you want to. You know what I like to watch on the internet? I don't get caught up in all the little details. You know what I like to watch on the internet? Stuff that makes me go, oh, wow, that was awesome. Whether it's a good fist fight or a gang hit, an assassination attempt, or a dunk. Man, if it just makes me go, man, that was kind of a wild thing to see. A car crash. You show me a good car crash, buddy. I'll watch it 17 times. Mm-hmm. I don't care if a whistle blew or a red light was out. I don't get caught up in the details. I just go, man, that car smacked that other car pretty good. Let's watch that again. John Morant was a car last night. He smacked Victor Wembanyama pretty good. I don't need to know anything about the details. I do think it's probably reasonable to suggest that, look at that picture. It's reasonable to suggest that had the whistle not blown, the play might have gone down differently. Wembanyama would have jumped more forcibly into the air, would have more enthusiastically tried to block the shot. That's what some people are saying. That's what I saw on the internet last night.
I don't buy that. Don't jump.
Bennett says don't jump if you don't.
Don't jump. That's what they say. Don't jump.
Bennett says, hey, Victor Wembanyama, you're a little bit like a quarterback. If you want to slide. Mm-hmm. But if you go keep trying to go, then we're going to keep trying to go too. Right?
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Saying.
Don't jump.
I hear what you're saying. Either way, I just enjoy him watching things that I enjoy watching.
It was great.
Whether it showed up in the box score or not, whether it resulted in 2 points or not, whether it's a play that actually counts or not, I just like watching little guys punch on big guys. And last night, I know Josh's not like a little guy. He's bigger than me. But, like, in NBA terms, basketball standards, relatively speaking, that's a little guy punching one on a big guy. Those are always fun to enjoy.
Yeah.
Because of the way the game ended, with a big highlight and a win, it is easy to forget that the Grizzlies were actually down 12 points at the half.
Yeah.
As Wemby incredibly blocked 8 shots before the break. That was ridiculous. That's how you know he's just different, because the Grizzlies last night were just shooting balls into his elbow. Yeah. Like Santi just shot one into his elbow. Jaren would get blocked and look like, how did that happen? Zach Edey would get an offensive rebound and be like, all right, I know what I do with this. And then you can't do it because that guy's there. Now Zach can beat him eventually. But there was also one where it was like, well, nobody blocks this. How is this guy doing this? He's just a different deal all the way around. Broadly speaking, it was not the reigning Rookie of the Year's best performance. He took 19 shots, missed 14 of them. Finished with 13 points, 12 rebounds, 8 blocks. So he got no blocks after the half. So it wasn't his best performance, but he was still just 2 blocks away from a triple-double. So he didn't suck. But 5 of 19 from somebody who normally shoots, or at least entered the game shooting above 48% from the field. That's not great. For the Grizz, the big quarter was the third. They outscored San Antonio 43-25 in that third quarter, and that's how they flipped that 12-point halftime deficit into a 6-point lead. Then the Grizz outscored the Spurs 35-27 in the fourth. That's how you win at 129-115. The scoring among the stars was pretty balanced. John Morant got 21 points on 13 shots. Desmond Bane got 21 points on 13 shots. Jaren Jackson got 19 points. He needed 24 shots to get there. That's probably the Wemby effect. Off the bench, Santi got 20. Luke Kennard got 15 on 5 made threes. The Grizz shot 49.5% from the field, 42.1% from 3. And they improved to 26 and 15 on the season. Bennett, if you add up 26 and 15, and I am not trying to catch you off guard, so I'm not even going to ask you to do it.
Okay.
But if you add up 26 and 15, what you're going to get is 41. Now, if you play in the NBA, your regular season schedule is 82 games. So we are officially now at the halfway mark of the season. How you feeling about things officially at the halfway mark of the season?
I feel better after last night for sure. That first half was gross. I got to give Taylor Jenkins credit for making adjustments because, like you said, Wembanyama had 8 blocks in the first half. He was on his way to a career night and didn't have another block in the game the rest of the way. And so I think you obviously give credit to the adjustments that they were able to make. I know Jaren only had 19, but it was close enough to 20. Like I've been saying, like when those 3 guys are all 20 points or more, it's typically a recipe of success for the Grizzlies. And, you mentioned Luke Kennard too. Like last night is like how you want Luke Kennard to play. Like, dude, come in and green light, like shoot that thing. Like I think that fans have been frustrated a little bit lately with his just lack of shooting when he's in the game. And he's one of the more efficient shooters in the league, if not still the most efficient shooter in the league. But, man, I want him to let it fly when he's in there, and he did last night. And obviously Santi was great off the bench too. That's always a recipe for success. Like when Santi scores 20 off the bench, they always win. I've been saying that. I do not think they have lost a game when Santi scored 20 points off the bench. So, yeah, it was good to see, balanced, efficient. So I'm feeling good. I mean, again, they play this team tomorrow night, so like we could come in here on Monday saying something different, but it was positive to go on the road, beat a Western Conference team that's in the top 10 in the standings, because we've talked about like their record against the West, not great, so it was good to get that win last night.
Well, I'm glad, for one thing, that Luke Kennard is done frustrating the fans, because the fans are forever frustrated. I never seen a more frustrated bunch.
Well, I think with him,
given that the team wins more than it loses,
I think with him, it's just like he's got this unique skill set, and you just want him to shoot it when he's in there. And I think these past couple games, he had been a little more, I wouldn't say timid, just he wasn't letting it fly like he was last night. So it was good to see.
Yeah, I guess my advice to the fans you're speaking to would be like, you don't have to live and die with every dribble of an NBA season.
No, it's true.
You don't have to have the strongest opinions in the history of social media on every dribble of every NBA season.
Oh, dude, you should have seen the tweets going out at halftime last night. That's why I say you can never make grand statements in the first half of an NBA game, or just on one game in general.
You ever notice how often I tweet in the middle of games?
No, it never works out in your favor ever.
It's just like I'm not. You realize I get paid to talk and express opinions for a living, and I'm not compelled to just tell you what I think about every single dribble of every single quarter of every single game, every single week of a very long 82 game season.
Right.
Like if you're gonna let your emotions go here and here with every quarter, every game, every result, every week of results, you just gonna end up crazy as an NBA fan. I don't have much interest in it, but if you're telling me Grizz fans are now, a little less frustrated with one aspect of the team, then I guess that's a good thing, because they needed some stress removed from their lives. The Grizz have played 41 games. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you why I'm not frustrated. They played 41 games of an 82-game regular season schedule. All right, we're halfway home. John Morant has missed 17 of these games. Desmond Bane has missed 9 of them. Zach Edey has missed 15 of them. Marcus Smart has missed 23 of them. Vince Williams has missed 38 of them. G.G. Jackson has missed all of them. That's a lot of missed games for stars and rotation players, and yet the Grizzlies are 26-15 through 41 games. Big Bet Bennett, we can nitpick rotations, lineup combinations, minutes distribution, all sorts of stuff, and sometimes we do. But typically, I'm a bottom line guy. If the bottom line is good, I try to keep my frustration to a minimum. And I think all things considered, and I mean all things considered, the bottom line is good. The Grizzlies are 26-15, alone in third in the West, 2 games back of the Rockets for second, even though John Morant has missed 42% of the games so far this season, even though Marcus Smart has missed 56% of the games so far this season, even though the Grizzlies are currently starting 2 rookies, one of whom was the 3rd leading scorer on a Pac-12 team. They got a 7 seed in the NCAA tournament less than a year ago. I know the schedule hasn't been the toughest. I know the record against good teams isn't the best, But 26-15, 11 games above 500 with all of that adversity, all things considered, that's fine with me. If you offer me this in the preseason, if I knew this many players would miss this many games, and you would have told me I can still take 26-15 through 41, I would have taken that. Would you have done the same, Bennett? Would you have taken this record? Forget the details. I just tell you, this is how many games Josh playing. This is how many games Dez is playing. This is how many games Marcus Smart is playing. This is how many games everybody on the roster is playing, and you'll be 26-15 at the halfway mark, alone in third in the West, 2 games out of second. Would you have taken that?
Yeah, without question.
I think without question.
Yep.
So what are we talking about?
No, it's very true. Again, like the Houston thing was disappointing and left a bad taste in people's mouths. But like, I mean, did they just? I know Jokic wasn't playing, but they blasted Denver on the road last night. Like, Houston's really good. That's just a good team that's ahead of you in the standings that you lost to multiple times in a short period. So I can understand the frustration. But yeah, like you said, like when you add context to this first half of the season, you take this record and where they are all day, without question.
Yeah, good teams in the NBA, with few exceptions, wreck and get wrecked. With few exceptions. I mean, maybe it doesn't happen to Cleveland, right? And once upon a time, I guess it didn't happen to the Warriors, right? And maybe it doesn't happen to Oklahoma City right now as often as it happens to other franchises. But with few exceptions, if you're an NBA team, even a good one, there are going to be weeks where you wreck, and there are going to be weeks where you get wrecked. And if you live and die with every single episode of this 82-episode show, that's a roller coaster ride that I don't think I'm too interested in riding on. If you offer me this in the preseason, I'm taking it. 26-15 through 41 with this much adversity, this many games being missed by important players, I'm taking it every time. Up next, another round, like you said, Bennett, with the Spurs on Friday night. So if you're the praying type, I guess, pray for Wemby to get shorter in the next 24 hours. His arms are a problem.
He's freaking insane, dude.
His arms are a problem.
He didn't even have a good game last night, and like the box score is just ridiculous.
He's just in the way.
I know, dude.
He's just you've been playing basket. This really is what happens. I guarantee you could talk to Zach Edey, Jaren Jackson, Santi, any of them, and they would tell you some version of this. Been playing basketball my whole life. At some point, you get very comfortable with where you are in a court, where you could score, what you can do with this offensive rebound, and against that guy, you have to reconsider everything because he's just going to be places where other humans can't be. Like, I've been playing basketball my whole life. Another human's arm has never been there when I'm trying to get an offensive stick back. Another human's arm has never been there when I am attempting, a step back jumper. He's just a different animal. His arms are real problems, Bennett. His arms are real problems.
Very problematic.
Either way, and I think everybody would agree on this last night, regardless of how you feel about how celebrated Ja Morant's after the whistle dunk should be celebrated. That was a fun game last night, in part because of what Wemby was doing in the first half and in part because of what the Grizzlies were doing in the second half. The matchups are fun, and we get another one on Friday night. And then on February 3rd, 2 weeks from Monday, Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs going to be inside FedEx Forum. Tickets available right now, Grizzlies.com. That one should be a fun night in downtown Memphis. We're going to talk to Mike Wallace about all of this. He's going to join us from San Antonio. We'll do it after the break. It's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans, and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering, to those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard, bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. We touch on a lot of locations today. I'm in New York City. Bennett Doyle back in Memphis, inside the Bill Ford Tough studio. And Mike Wallace, senior editor, Grind City Media. He joins us from San Antonio, Texas, where John Morant put Victor Wembanyama on a poster last night, regardless of whether the whistle blew or not. Mike Wallace, appreciate you joining me. Let's talk about the lead story. That's the Josh dunk that didn't count, but certainly went viral. What was it like to be in the building, see that with your own eyes?
Man, it was, and we were broadcasting from that side of the court too. And excuse me, when Ja took off, it was like, okay, did we just hear the whistle? Is this a possibility for an and one? And when usually guys try to jump and stop you from shooting a jumper, or guys stop, when the whistle blows, they don't want to see the ball go in the basket. But I've never seen a guy try to stop you from dunking after the whistle is blown. And Victor Wembanyama simply made a mistake in doing that, man. And Ja the funny thing about it was what happened in the locker room when I tried to get Ja to talk about it. And I just sat there and I was like, come on, Ja, man, this is viral. The people back home in Memphis are going absolutely crazy right now. They want to hear what went through your mind when this happened. And, man, his answer was just so gangster, man. It was like, hey, it was just another dude at the rim. You know what I'm saying? And he don't get no pass. I mean, he was just another dude at the rim. And when you hear Ja talk like that, you know that he's having fun. You know that he's back to being Ja. And that joy and that defiance is there because, frankly, Gary, that was missing in the last 3 or 4 games. He didn't have that. And as much as he tried to disguise it, you could tell when Ja is in his feelings and when he's not locked in. And last night he was locked in. And he was all about basketball for sure.
I do believe that he views Wemby as just another guy at the rim and he doesn't get a pass. I don't necessarily believe that he's not aware of who it is at the rim and this moment that it could create. I know it's basketball and it's all happening pretty fast, but when Ja took off, as they say, he knew on some level the guy he's trying to punch one on is the guy everybody would kill to see him punch one on. He was aware of the circumstances, wasn't he?
No, he absolutely was aware of the circumstances. And you could tell, like, his reaction afterwards, we knew it was part of the Ja. It was Ja being Ja after a game. You've come to expect that. He's going to downplay it. He's going to be dismissive of certain things just because that's part of, the braggadocious. And, you let other people speak for you in that kind of situation. But not only did he know what Wemby was going to do, he knew that he had to figure out a way to try to execute it and throw it through the rim too. Because he could have just pulled up at a certain point when he saw Wemby there and just kind of flicked it up or did something, other than try to go over top of him. He wanted to complete that play regardless of what whether it was going to count or not. And you saw it in his reaction on the floor. Like, he almost ran all the way up through the tunnel afterwards, telling everyone else that, who could see him, hey, you see what I just did. But even more so, we can't talk about the jaw facial without talking about the one that did count, and that was the Zach Edey one, when he went right at Wemby early in that game and with two hands just stuffed it right in Wemby's face. And, again, this isn't any indictment of Victor Wembanyama. He is phenomenal. He's probably going to be Defensive Player of the Year, and he's going to be a first-team All-NBA guy. He's going to do all of those things. But it still does not negate the fact that, the Grizzlies wanted to punch first, and they wanted to punch often against this guy. He was a target last night. Because
the Spurs aren't a big market team, aren't a top 3 seed, aren't coming off of a championship. They're not on national television a lot. So I think people see Wemby highlights. I don't know how often people around the country outside of San Antonio actually watch Wemby games. But we all had an opportunity to do it last night. I mean, I guess we all have an opportunity to do it every game. But, when they're playing the Grizzlies, you put your eyes on it. And it is just a different game when he's playing. He's just different than everybody else. And you saw it last night with the 8 blocks in the first half. There are moments, whether it's Zach, Jaren, Santi, where they are doing things on a basketball court they can comfortably do in literally any other NBA game that they play. And against that guy, they're shooting it into his elbow. Like, they were shooting the ball into his arms sometimes just because it is so unusual to have somebody's arms where his arms happen to be. What's it like to see that in person?
Yeah, I mean, not only was it like to see it in person, it's also, talking to these guys directly about how they have to adjust. Santi said that this isn't a human. Like, this guy is not human. He makes you, Santi was like last night, I'm 7 feet tall, and this guy makes me look like I'm 6'2". When it comes to it, the way you have to alter your shot, the way you have to get to a different spot than what you're comfortable getting, the way you have to arc the ball, the way you have to look over your shoulder to make sure, all right, is he really 12 feet away from me or is he 10 feet away from me? Because if he's 10 feet away from me, he can stretch his arms out and block this shot, right? So it's when you see that adjustment and these guys are making these adjustments on the fly, that tells you exactly why Jaren Jackson Jr. struggled. He was 2 for 13 or 2 for 11 in the first 2.5 quarters of the game, because he couldn't figure out how to measure Wemby's presence. Once he figured it out in the second half and in the fourth quarter, Jaren was able to get going, and he also was able to defend on his end as well with his 2 blocks. So it's just, Taylor told me after the game, man, you can't scout. There's no person on your scout team that can wear the Victor Wembanyama #1 Spurs jersey, and you go out there and say, hey, this is what it's going to be like when he's out there for real.
You hear it all the time from coaches in walkthroughs, like you can't replicate a certain guard's speed, or you can't replicate back in the day an Allen Iverson crossover. You can't replicate that in practice. You have to feel it on the court. And yeah. Even Jaren Jackson Jr., who is an all-star, probably about to be All-NBA, is perhaps among the biggest threats to Wemby for Defensive Player of the Year, even though Wemby's the obvious favorite. Even somebody like that, somebody that physically put together, somebody that accomplished, somebody that talented, you don't know what you're dealing with until you feel it and see it. And I don't think it was a coincidence that across the board, the front court last night got more comfortable in the second half than they were in the first, because I think it took a few minutes just to fill it out and understand what it is you can get away with and what it is you can't even try.
Yeah, and then with Wemby, what also helped too is that the Grizzlies finally got to their pace. You know what I mean? The Spurs play a good pace. They like to run off of makes or misses, and they get in transition a lot. But to have to defend that when you're the team that now has to get back on defense yourself, I think they ultimately wore Wembanyama down a little bit. I thought he started settling for a lot of shots. And yes, he's capable of shooting from the perimeter, making threes. But I thought those were kind of, hey, I don't feel like getting all the way to the rim type shots. You know what I'm saying? And I think that wore on him a little bit. And they're going to try to wear on him again. I mean, he's not the most physically imposing guy in terms of size and girth. He has the length that makes up for it. But, Jaren was able to get into his chest. And, different guys, Ja was able to negotiate that space a lot better than a lot of other people. But when you started seeing guys get a little bit more physical with him, he started to wear down a lot faster than he did in that first half. And, he's a phenomenal guy. I think the Spurs are fun to watch. You said not many people get the chance to see their games. They're not on national television a lot. they will be tomorrow night with the Grizzlies, and I think it's going to be round 2 of another epic, type of game because of the way these teams want to play.
Last night was game 41. Because we play 82 in the regular season, we've now hit the halfway point. The Grizzlies are 26-15, alone in third in the West, 2 games back of Houston. Even though Ja Morant has missed 42% of the games so far this season, even though Marcus Smart has missed 56% of the games so far this season, even though the Grizzlies are currently starting 2 rookies. If I would have described this exactly on the morning of opening night, hey, it ain't going to be the best first 41 games as it pertains to injuries. Ja's still going to miss a bunch. Marcus Smart's going to miss a bunch. Vince Williams going to miss almost all of it. Gigi will. But you're going to be 26-15 alone in third, even while starting 2 rookies, one of whom was selected in the second round. It'd be impossible not to sensibly take this, right?
You absolutely take it. And because you know why? It's because I saw the alternative just last year. The Grizzlies missed more player games to injuries than any team last year, and they're on pace to do the same thing again this year. So basically, if you're going to tell me you're dealing with the same level of injury absences to a certain extent, an overall number that you had last year, and when you got off to that 6-19 start, and you give me, what is it right now, 26-15? Absolutely, you take it. You're positioned top 3 in the West, and then you're telling me Oklahoma City and Houston are the only teams ahead of you. Absolutely, you take it. Now, having said all of that, we are able to see how this team is playing against certain teams, and those certain teams happen to be the ones that you're going to end up matched up with in a potential first or second round playoff series. They have to break through against the top 20% of the league, as opposed to feasting always on the bottom 80. We know the Grizzlies are a really good team, and I think that's where people are getting, it's frustrating one moment, and it's celebratory the next, because you see that fine line between the pitfalls that this team has and the potential that they have too to be on the other side of greatness. And they're right there. You know what I mean? Hopefully these guys can get healthy, but health is something we've been talking about almost throughout Taylor Jenkins' 5 years as coach. He's never had a fully healthy team. It's never been that way. I don't expect that to be the case. I hope it is, but I don't expect it. Can they do enough in 2 or 3 possessions against quality composition at the end of the game to pull themselves ahead? And I think that's the test that this team has to face the rest of this regular season.
Last thing before I let you go, I mentioned Gigi Jackson. He has returned to the court, played a game with the hustle. I don't care particularly about the shooting percentages. It was his first real basketball game in a long time. Ultimately, he will return to the Grizzlies roster at some point. What do we expect his role to be? Where will he fit, if at all, into that rotation?
Man, you got to take Taylor at his word when it comes to this kind of stuff. And that's a question, again, I asked him last night before the game. And the fact of the matter is he's saying, look, when Gigi does come back up here, if he earns an opportunity to be on the floor, it's going to be through his defensive commitment, his defensive presence. It's not guaranteed that he's going to be earmarked for minutes when he comes back. That's just not going to be the case. You have guys that are playing, relatively well to exceeding. Like Jalen Wells, you don't just move him out of the starting lineup. Jake LaRavia is a guy that's been giving you a lot of quality effort, when it comes to impact in certain games. You'll go even further down, down the list than that. Eventually, Marcus Smart is going to be back too. Does Gigi move ahead of Marcus Smart? Vince Williams has to figure that out. So I don't expect Gigi to just get grandfathered in the same role that he had at the end of last season when no one else was available. He's going to have to earn it. But I do think having him as an option will be an absolute bonus for this team. He had one of the best lines. As much as we were paying attention in real time to the Spurs game last night against the Grizzlies, I kept looking back and seeing what Gigi was doing with the hustle, just like everybody else. And then at one point, he apparently, got into a little bit of a scuffle with a guy, and he said, "Man, this dude is Rip City for life." When you tell a guy, a tough guy in the G League, that you're Rip City for life, man, that's one of the best comebacks you can ever have in trash talking. I miss Gigi. I miss his personality. I miss the player that he is, but also just the infectious personality that he is. And that team is going to embrace him with open arms. He's just going to have to earn his way back into the minutes that we were accustomed to seeing him play last year.
That is Mike Wallace. Make sure you're enjoying all his work. GrindCityMedia.com. He's on X. Give him a follow at my mic check. That's at my mic check. You're the best, buddy. You look great as always. I appreciate your time. Enjoy your day in San Antonio, and we'll catch up with you again next week.
Thank you, man. Likewise, man. Safe travels out there as well to you, brother.
All right, brother. I'll see you. That's Mike Wallace, Grind City Media on X at my mic check. That's at my mic check. When we come back, turn our attention to college basketball. Penny Hardaway's Tigers back on the court tonight. They're in Philadelphia. The opponent is Temple. We'll get you ready for that next. Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South.
In the bowl game, the defense played lights out. The offense didn't show up. But it is what it is. But do I still love him? Yes, I do.
Do you love Kalen DeBoer?
Yeah, I think a lot of Kalen DeBoer. I think he's a good coach.
You do?
Yeah, I just I'd give the man time. Let him give
How
him
much?
time.
How much time? Because
About another year or two.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Grizz Nation, it's time to send Ja, Sharon, and Dez to the 2025 All-Star Game.
Oh! What did we just see, partner?
Take three. Take three.
Bain for three. Bingo! This man Bain heating it up. Blocked by Sharon.
Most versatile power forward in the game today.
Head to NBA.com/vote, the NBA app, or simply use the QR code on the screen to send your Grizzlies to the All-Star Game today.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off. Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans, and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
On January 20th, join the Memphis Grizzlies as we honor the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This year, we honor those who have carried out his vision with the 20th Annual National Civil Rights Museum Sports Legacy Award. Your celebration game versus the Minnesota Timberwolves is brought to you by Ford and your Mid-South Ford dealers.
It's your turn to drive into luxury at Southland Casino Hotel. Join us on Saturdays to win your share of up to $1 million in free play and prizes. And don't miss the chance to take home luxury itself during the grand finale drawings. Drive off in a 2025 Land Rover on February 1st or a 2025 Range Rover on March 1st. 2 vehicles, 2 finales, 1 million ways to enjoy luxury only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 or up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either, and that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org. To find your nearest urgent care location, just walk in and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's OrthoSouth. OrthoSouth.org. Now, I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Penny Hardaway's Tigers back on the court tonight in Philadelphia. The opponent is the Temple Owls. Trivia time, Bennett.
Okay.
You know, the first team John Calipari ever coached against as head coach of your University of Memphis Tigers. Do you remember it?
Was it your Temple Owls?
Pyramid. It was your Temple Owls. He brought John Chaney and the Temple Owls.
Was that before or after John Chaney tried to fight him at that press conference at that time?
After.
That
it was all part of the. It was all part of the thing. It was like, hey, remember the guy that tried to choke me when I was at UMass? Let's bring him to downtown Memphis and let him coach a basketball team in a big building that'll someday sell, shotguns and fishing poles and stuff.
That's true. Time. I was there the other day, actually. Yeah, they're still selling all that stuff.
Still never been. I have never been to the Bass Pro.
You've never been to the downtown Bass Pro? Man,
No.
I'll be honest. It's pretty cool. Like if you're into any kind of outdoor activity, they got it for you.
Not.
They got you're not. I mean, even if you're not though, they got cool clothes and stuff.
Really? They have cool clothes at Bass Pro Pyramid. Say that out loud to somebody.
Are you? No, you don't know. You haven't
I don't
been.
know.
You don't know. Yes, they do. They have like name brand, like good stuff. Yeah.
Listen to me. You know what?
Yeah,
I
joke's on you.
apologize.
They have good clothes at Bass Pro Pyramid, bro.
I apologize. I feel like a little bit of a hypocrite. Earlier today, I scolded you for trying to act like you know what it's like to host a sports center, and then I turn right around and act like I know what it's like to shop for clothes at Bass Pro Pyramid.
Yeah, I mean, come on, look at me, dude.
Look at you, dude.
Don't you question me about Bass Pro Pyramid?
I'm not trying to question you about that. That's on me.
I think you need, dude, it's right there. I mean, one day after the show, if you're ever back in this studio again, you just need to like make the little trip and just take a little stroll through Bass Pro. It's nice.
I know I should. I know I should have already, just so I can never have to have this conversation again about why I've never been to Bass Pro Pyramid. But I've never been. It's never occurred to me to go. I've never been like I should go. I've also never been to the two big things people get very excited about, IKEA and Bass Pro Pyramid.
Yeah.
Never been to either one of them.
I've never been to IKEA either. I think it's closed right now. I saw some billboard that said grand reopening, so I don't even know if that's open right now. I've never been there.
Yeah, I hope whatever they're going through, I hope it gets resolved favorably.
Sure do too. Yeah, me too.
I hope it gets, because I would like to go someday. I don't know that I ever will, but I imagine it.
Yeah.
I imagine I could find myself there someday. So, Penny Hardaway's Tigers, they're in Philadelphia. They're playing the Temple Owls. I was wondering how we got to the Bass Pro Pyramid, and I guess it's because Temple played John Calipari in the Bass Pro Pyramid
right there in that building.
The Owls are 123rd in the net, and as long as they stay no worse than 135, this will be a Q2 game, quadrant 2, win or lose. That's the good, because right now you look at Memphis's resume, 5-2 in quadrant 1, 4-0 in quadrant 2. They still got the quadrant 3 loss to Arkansas State, but they've got 9 wins inside the first 2 quadrants. Win tonight, and that's 10 inside the first 2 quadrants. That would tie them with number 1 Auburn for most victories inside the first 2 quadrants in the entire nation. Big Bet Bennett, you ready for a quadrant 2 game tonight in Philadelphia? You ready for a quadrant 2 opportunity on the road? How you feel about that?
I actually believe it. Like, I want to win every game, right? I don't want to lose any of these AAC games. I am actually excited about playing a game against a team that on paper is a formidable opponent. Like, you know, and I know it was a close game. I just ain't got a lot of time for like East Carolina at home. Like, that just does absolutely nothing for me. So I'm excited about playing a team where it's going to be, you know, on paper, a tough matchup and one that could benefit the Tigers. You know, I'm looking at the schedule from last year. We did lose to Owls 1, 2.
A lot of Owl loss.
We only lost to Owls twice last year. We actually did beat the Temple Owls in Temple, so that's good. We did lose to Owls 2 other times. We were 2-2 against Owls last year, so take that for
undeniable.
what it's worth.
Bennett, I don't think anybody would try to argue with you if you tried to submit that the Tigers had an owl problem last season. I don't think anybody would.
Definitely.
I don't think anybody would try to stand up and argue with you about that. The Tigers, undeniably, they had an owl problem last season. Tonight is the night to show that things are different. Can you prove as a program that you don't have an owl problem anymore? I mean, Penny Hardaway, he's talking all the time, before games, after games, radio show on Monday nights. But I've yet to hear him address the owl problem that they endured last season. If you want to show me, I can't speak for everybody, I'm just me. But if you want to show me that your program is in a different place, if you want to show me that you've turned the corner as a coach, as a program, if you want to show me this basketball team's different than that basketball team, I already believe it. But if you want me to believe it even more, show me you don't have an owl problem anymore. Show me you've rid yourself of your owl problem.
Would you believe?
Can you show me that you rid yourself of your owl problem? Can you do that tonight?
Well, they're going to have their opportunities. They're 1-0 against Owls this season with 5 more remaining on the schedule.
That's a lot of owls.
How is that possible? That's got to be a record in college basketball for the most games against one style of mascot. I bet Tigers is probably up there. There's a lot of Tigers out there, but I would be willing to bet that Memphis plays owls more than any other team in the country plays any other animal.
If you ever want to know whether you're in a shit league or not, just count the number of owls you got to play.
Owls you got to play. That's how you know, bro.
If you got more than like 2 owls on your schedule, you got to start looking for realignment opportunities.
Absolutely. You know what? That's right there. When we talk about conference realignment, that's it right there, what you just said. Do you have more than 2 owls on your schedule? Yes. Get the hell out of that league.
Send that to Ed Scott.
Please, somebody send that to Ed Scott. We play the Owls 6 times this season.
I have tried to argue this from every angle I know to argue it. From fan enthusiasm to ticket sales to long-term vision. If none of that will convince you, you got to get out of this league. Count the number of owls you got on your schedule, bro.
And I
love too many owls.
You know I love owls. It's like one of my favorite animals, easily in the top 5 of my favorite animals. But
I know that
got
about you.
No time for playing them in sports. None whatsoever.
I like to go to the zoo and look at an owl. I don't like to play basketball against them.
That's right.
You know who I like to play basketball against? Tar Heels and Blue Devils and Zags and Hoosiers
and Jayhawks
and Wildcats and Jayhawks. Owls?
No, thank you.
What the? Owls?
No, thanks.
How many owls you going to put on the schedule? Man, if you got a schedule with this many owls, you're in a bad league, period. Prove me wrong. Show me another schedule in the history of sports with this many owls on it, and you'd brag about it. You'd be like, look at our great schedule. Look at all these owls.
You can't.
No, you can't. Nobody does that. You been paying attention to PJ Haggerty?
I have been.
Okay.
He's pretty good.
He is pretty good. So there's this pattern that's developed. I go on Jessica Benson's show, the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurd on Mondays, and she'll ask me some question about the AAC or about PJ Haggerty, and I'll immediately just say, oh, no. She'll be like trying to set it up for something positive, like, so is the AAC better than people realize? And you know, a different person might say, you know what, Jess, it might be. And I immediately just explain that it's not. It is just as bad as everybody thinks. Mm-hmm. It's awful, filled with owls. We've been through this. Yeah. All right. Then I come on the next week and she's like, so PJ Haggerty, could he be a National Player of the Year? I'm like, no. I'm just like, no, of course not.
I saw that.
Because he can't and he won't be because he's not going to be. All right. Because Cooper Flagg's going to be your National Player of the Year, barring a surprise at this point.
I got you.
All right. So, like, you know, only one person can win that award in most years, and it's not going to be PJ Haggerty. It's going to be Cooper Flagg, and if it's not Cooper Flagg, it's going to be Janai Broome. And if it's not Cooper Flagg or Janai Broome, the way things are going, it might be my little homie from Memphis, Cam Jones, up at Marquette, looking like the Big East Player of the Year. I don't believe it's going to be PJ Haggerty because I don't believe a little guard of the AAC is going to beat all of the people he would need to beat to win that award. Period. But he's been awesome. And I do think he has a chance to certainly be the AAC Player of the Year. We're headed that direction. But be a first-team All-American. He could be a first-team All-American.
Yeah.
And as soon as I walked out of the studio with Jess the other day, I felt bad that I wasn't more enthusiastically focused on that as opposed to, no, he's not going to be the National Player of the Year. Have you heard of Cooper Flagg? It's like, no, he's probably not going to be the National Player of the Year, Jess. But you know what he is going to be? Maybe a first-team All-American. And do you know how many of them there have been in the history of the Memphis basketball program? Consensus first-team All-Americans, men's basketball, University of Memphis. How many do you think there have been in the history of the program? Trivia time.
Okay, so the last one, I believe, was Chris Douglas Roberts.
2008. Chris Douglas Roberts was
a long time ago, yeah.
Consensus first-team All-American. A lot of people, when they think of that team, they think of Derrick Rose, and I understand why. Derrick Rose was the most talented person on that roster. Derrick Rose was the #1 pick in the subsequent NBA draft. Derrick Rose had one of the all-time great runs through the NCAA tournament. Chris Douglas Roberts, over the course of the season, was that team's best player. He was the first-team All-American. Derrick Rose was only 13.
Which, by the way, just got announced he's getting inducted into that the M Club Hall of Fame, which is really cool.
CDR,
Congrats
not D Rose. CDR.
Yeah, CDR. That's right. Okay, so CDR, Keith Lee had to have been. Tell me Keith Lee was an All-American.
1985.
Yeah, okay.
Keith Lee was a 3-time All-American.
I was going to say.
But second team earlier in his career, but in his senior season at Memphis, 1985, that culminated with a trip to the Final Four, Keith Lee was a consensus first-team All-American.
Was Larry an All-American?
He was, but not first team.
Not first team. God, who am I missing that would have been was Penny an All-American?
Penny Hardaway, 1993, was a consensus first-team All-American. And that's it. That's the whole list.
I knew it was short. Yeah.
That's the whole list. We celebrate Final Fours forever, right? You talk to any Memphis fan of a certain age, they're going to talk to you about 1973 and Larry Finch. They're going to talk to you about 1985 and Keith Lee and Andre Turner. They're going to talk to you about 2008, Chris Douglas Roberts and Derrick Rose. If you're a Memphis fan of any age, you're going to know all those years forever. You're going to know those names forever. Memphis has only had the same number of consensus first-team All-Americans as it's had trips to the Final Four. These people should be celebrated similarly. These are not things that happen often at the University of Memphis. Perhaps they happen often at other places. You know, UConn has a long list of first-team All-Americans. Kansas, Kentucky, you know the hits. This is not something that has happened, as great as the Memphis basketball program is, not something that had happened often in the history of the program. Just 3 times. Keith Lee in 85, Penny Hardaway in 93, CDR in 2008, and it could be PJ Haggerty in 2025. Man. He has a real chance to be a first-team All-American. He is averaging right now 22.4 points, 5.6 rebounds, 3.1 assists, 1.9 steals, while shooting 49.5% from the field, 42.3% from 3, and he's doing it for a team that, if they win tonight, will be tied with number 1 Auburn for most wins inside the first 2 quadrants in the entire country. He's doing it for a top 20 team. He's doing it for a team that I have in the top 15. And when you're posting those types of numbers, when you're a statistical monster for a nationally relevant team, then that's how you get these types of accolades. I saw Mark Adams, the ESPN announcer, like pushing for UAB's best player to be National Player of the Year. Like, I like Mark Adams. I'll just stop there. I like Mark Adams. That's insane. And by insane,
outrageous.
By insane, I don't mean like he's crazy, somebody should check on him. I mean, what's the nicest way? I'm trying to be nice. I like Mark Adams. I don't know what else to do. I'm trying to be nice. I like Mark Adams. Have I made that clear?
Yes.
If you're out there arguing that somebody from UAB, shitty UAB, and I like Andy Kennedy, but UAB's not good this year. If you're no, Cooper Flagg exists. Somebody from UAB is not going to be the National Player of the Year. Somebody from a UAB team that's not going to make the NCAA tournament is not going to be the National Player of the Year. That's just like, what's the nice? It's a stupid thing to say. It's a stupid thing to say. It's a stupid thing to tweet. But what's not stupid to say or tweet is that PJ Haggerty has a chance to be a first-team All-American.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, we've had situations where guys have put up insane numbers on bad college basketball teams or on average college basketball teams and weren't All-Americans, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So, I mean, come on. That's a stupid argument.
Eric Dixon right now at Villanova is shooting like 49% from 3, leading the country in scoring. He's doing it at Villanova. All right? Villanova is has been a blue blood program for much of my life. Mm-hmm. They were in that 85 Final Four with Memphis State. They won that national championship. They won 2 more with Jay Wright. That program's won 3 national championships in my lifetime, 3 championships since 1985. That's an incredible big brand in the Big East.
Yeah.
You didn't even know Eric Dixon existed until I just told you, right?
Right.
Because he's on a team that's not good. Because he's on a team that doesn't have a number next to his name. Even though it's Villanova in the Big East, the guy who is having an incredible season, and most people, I don't just mean you, I wasn't using you as an example. I mean, most people have no idea he even exists. I don't think, or at least I'm not certain, he would be a first-team All-American right now. And I know he wouldn't be the National Player of the Year right now because he's not on a team that's good enough to get you into these types of conversations. But PJ Haggerty is on a team that can get him in some real serious conversations. And the most obvious one is first-team All-America honors. I don't know if he's going to get there. They only put 5 players on that team. and one of them's going to be Cooper Flagg, and one of them's probably going to be Janai Broome, and Cam Jones is right there. But P.J. Haggerty is like, if you were putting together a team today, you could put him on it, and nobody would call you silly, or at least nobody who understands how these things should work would call you silly. He's having a wonderful, wonderful first season at Memphis. He'll be back on the court tonight in Philadelphia against your Temple Owls. If you're curious, Memphis is listed as an 8.5-point favorite. Win or lose based on current numbers, it will be a quadrant 2 result.
Number 2.
LIV Golf has announced that it has a new broadcast partner starting this season. If you want to watch LIV Golf, Big Bet Bennett, just turn on Fox or Fox Sports 1 or FS2, because that's where you're going to be watching the professional golf tour that, depending on what you read, what week, what month, is either working with the PGA Tour or working against the PGA Tour. I can't even keep track anymore.
I mean, you can't argue against that. That's pretty big time.
Well, I know nobody has watched LIV. Like, the numbers show that it's gained no traction whatsoever. But if you just put something on CBS, whatever it is, there's going to be eyeballs on it. If you just put something on NBC, whatever it is, there's going to be eyeballs on it. And if you just put something on Fox, whatever it is, there's going to be eyeballs in it. You know, people are used to spending their weekends, their afternoons, if you're around the house and you care about golf even a little bit, it could just be on. It's just something that's just on. Like the afternoon network programming during the summer. What's on? Well, I bet the PGA Tour's on. CBS, check it out. NBC, check it out. LIV Golf, you kind of had to go look for it. At first, it was on YouTube exclusively. Then it was the CW, and then it was the CW sometimes, but not the other times. I mean, I could see it on the channel guide. It would say LIV Golf on the CW. That I would click it, it just wouldn't be there. You can't make people work to find you. This will alleviate that issue to some degree. And so good for LIV Golf, I guess, and good for the guys who took all that money, and they'll at least be playing golf on a big stage again, the big stage that Fox Sports can provide. But it suggests that we're no closer to getting where we want to get, which is all these guys competing regularly against each other. Like, I don't like the idea that John Rahm and Brooks Koepka are playing over here, and Roy McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler are playing over here. And based on current stuff, we really only get to see them in the majors and Ryder Cups and stuff like that. I was hoping by the time we got to January 16, 2025, the split would largely be a story in our past, and we'd be closer to reconciling and seeing these guys get back to what we had in golf for decades and decades and decades. But this is another indication that maybe we're not going to get there anytime soon. So not the greatest thing for golf, broadly speaking, but probably a good thing for LIV. So congratulations.
Number 3.
Corey Graves, WWE announcer. He's big mad.
Yeah,
he's big mad.
What's going on here? I'm not really current on this. I saw people saying that he was mad that they put him on NXT.
Oh, Bennett, he's big mad.
What's going on?
Okay, so Corey Graves, I didn't really know his story until I started reading about it, because his story starts at a time where I wasn't following wrestling, but I started reading about it. It's kind of interesting. So before he was an announcer, he was a wrestler, right? And I gather he had a bunch of concussions, and they were like, buddy,
you got to stop.
You got to stop. You know, like, you want to end up, you're like wrestling's version of Tua.
Yes.
You got to calm down.
He was that, yes.
He was wrestling's Tua Tagovailoa. If that's been said before, I apologize for stealing it. I never heard it before. I didn't even know any of this existed. So he's wrestling's Tua Tagovailoa. And they say, buddy, you can't keep hitting your head like this. You can't keep wrestling. He said, okay, cool. I'm going to try to get into announcing then. My dream was to be a wrestler, but if I can't be a wrestler, I'd like to be a wrestling announcer. Similar to my dream, Bennett. I would have liked to have played second base for the New York Mets, but I sucked at baseball, you know. So I couldn't do that. I said, well, I do like sports.
Yeah.
If I can't be an athlete, because, like, look at me, I can't be an athlete. Little and weak and unathletic and lack of mental strength. I'm not going to be a professional athlete, clearly, for those reasons and more. But maybe I can find a career connected to sports. Maybe I could be a sports writer. That really is how my mind worked when I was a kid. Look at me now. Woohoo! Corey Graves had similar dreams. He wanted to be a wrestler, couldn't be a wrestler anymore. He said, I'll be a wrestling announcer. I can still work in the industry. So he does the work, and I mean, a fast rise. Next thing you know, there's 2 big jobs in wrestling, right? I mean, yeah, you're going to have a 2-man booth, I guess, but it's the play-by-play guy and then the color guy, right? So you could do it on Raw, that's a big job, or you could do it on SmackDown, that's a big job. And then everything else is not as big of a job, all right?
Yep.
Well, Corey Graves got one of those big jobs, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they just made this switch to Netflix, moved Monday Night Raw to Netflix, SmackDown back on USA Network. That's doing 3 hours on Friday nights. Raw's doing whatever it's going to do, somewhere between 2 and 3 on Netflix on Monday nights. And Corey Graves has been moved off of both of those shows in favor of other announcers. And he jumped on social media to express his displeasure with these decisions. And also, some people are interpreting it this way, taking a shot at Pat McAfee. Corey Graves seems to believe he's lost his job, not because he's not good, not because he's not worthy, not because he didn't put in the work, but because he's simply not as famous as Pat McAfee, and they decided they wanted famous Pat McAfee on that table as opposed to Corey Graves. What do you think, Bennett?
So I see Nick and Xavier in the chat saying that they, think there's a chance that it could be a work, but now they're not so sure.
That is one theory. One theory would be it's a work. He's gonna come back to wrestling. He's gonna wrestle, and the first big thing that he'll have will be with Pat McAfee. And it'll ultimately lead to Corey Graves and Pat McAfee at WrestleMania or something like that. That's one theory. The other theory is you're overthinking it. This is just a guy that got demoted and he's mad.
Yeah, but WWE is so, I mean, they are so self-aware of these kind of, they're not going to let you just go on TV and be mad and look mad like they're a part of that. Everything that's happening on that TV broadcast, best believe everybody backstage that's running the show knows what's going on. They're in people's ears telling them what to do. I just don't think that he would not be allowed to just be mad on TV. They'd yank him off that broadcast so fast.
Well, he got mad on social media.
Yeah.
He made 2 posts, very clearly criticizing his employers. If it's part of a work, do you leave the post up? Because he did subsequently delete both posts. They don't exist anymore.
Okay, because I saw people. I didn't watch NXT. I don't really watch NXT that much, but I saw people saying that he looked don't on it and was not giving good effort or anything like that. Which again, I think WWE would pull you off so fast. They don't let that kind of stuff happen. I don't know, man. I think he's really good, and so.
I do too. Here's the thing. I don't know this guy, and I don't usually notice announcers, but there reached a point as I'm watching these WWE broadcasts where I was like, that guy's good. He looks the way you should look to be on TV. He sounds the right way. He's good. He's talented. I don't know why he got demoted, if this is in fact a real story as opposed to a work. But he is talented, and I can understand his frustration because he's good. I noticed his work in a favorable way.
Now, if you're WWE, this is another thing that they're good at. They're so self-aware of what they're so aware of what the fans think. They just are better than most big companies like that. I would not be surprised if WWE turned this into something. Let's say he really is mad, and if they can mend the relationship, I guarantee you that they're going to turn this into something, because now people are talking, right? We're talking about it right now. WWE loves that. I guarantee you that they're probably behind the scenes, if they can work this out and figure this out, thinking, how do we use this? Let's use this. We can get a good storyline out of this.
Well, isn't that exactly what they did with WrestleMania last year and the whole Rock and Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns thing? They were headed for The Rock against Roman Reigns, and then there was a very public backlash. The fans got invested in this Cody Rhodes thing, and they seemed to pivot in real time and turn Rock into whatever they turned him into. And that seemed like that was a situation where they pivoted into a new storyline based off the way fans were reacting on social media and on the internet. And so, maybe they do something similar here. If it's a work, it's a work, and then we're just wasting each other's time. But if it's a real thing, if it's a real workplace thing, I understand it. But having also worked in television for a long time now, most people who work in television believe they deserve more than they have. And even the people who you think have more than they deserve, you ever pull them aside, get 2 drinks in them, they probably think they deserve to sit in the chair somebody else is sitting there and don't know exactly. You know what the best thing to do is? Zip it.
Yeah.
It never comes across the same way.
You're right. You're right.
I don't think you'll ever hear me complaining about my role at CBS Sports or whether I think I should be in this certain spot or doing this instead of that person. First off, that's just not really the work environment we have. Like, you hear about all these stories at Fox Sports, ESPN. You know, I can't speak for everybody, but we don't have those issues at CBS. Like, it's a pretty good, everybody gets along. The hosts get along. Like, you know, me and John Rothstein are friends. We get along. You know, we sub in and out on that desk. He has been my biggest supporter. I've tried to be his. Seth Davis, the best mentor, supporter. Like, whatever jealousy exists at other places, I've never dealt with that in my own personal experiences at CBS. And perhaps that's why you don't hear a lot of this kind of talk. But to the extent you ever do, it just never plays well. Nobody wants to hear it. By the time, trust me, when you are Corey Graves, and this is, if it's a real story, this is the thing somebody should tell him. If it's a real story, before your bosses made this decision to demote you, because that's what they're doing. If they took you off the big broadcast and put you on NXT, you've been demoted. They can frame it however they want to frame it. You've been demoted. That's what that is. All right?
Yes.
It reminds me a little bit. A college basketball coach one time, like, created a new role for one of his assistant coaches, and they tried to frame it like, and now he's the special assistant to the buddy. Like, oh, it's a demotion.
Yeah.
You didn't want him on your staff anymore, so you created a new job. You can let him say it's a promotion to his wife and kids if he wants to, but, like, bro, we work in basketball. That's a demotion. You invented a job to get him off your staff, but you didn't want to throw him away. But it's a demotion. What I would tell Corey Graves is, before your bosses demote you in such a public way, trust me, they have talked about it. And it's not just one person. All of the people you're going to try to complain to, they've already had this conversation amongst themselves. They've already made up their minds. So you're not going to tell them anything they don't know. You're not going to change their mind. You're only going to create more problems for yourself. You know what the best thing for you to do? Go to NXT with a smile and kill it down there. And absolutely destroy it down there. And then see what happens. Who knows where Pat McAfee's career is taking him? Who knows if there's going to be a third night of big WWE at some point? You just never know where this stuff goes.
Right.
But publicly complaining about it is going to do you no good, because all you're doing is complaining about a decision your boss has made, and they've already made it with a lot of thought put into it. Before this decision was brought to you, 7 different people above you have already discussed it in great detail. If you could Freedom of Information Act their emails, you would get all sorts of interesting stuff about you. So complaining about it's not going to do you any good. It's just going to create more problems. I don't know whether it's a work or whether it's real, but it's kind of interesting. We'll see where it goes from here.
Number 4.
How you feel about this, Bennett?
Yep.
We talked about Victor Wembanyama. He's a San Antonio Spur. He was on the court last night against the Grizzlies. Blocked 8 shots in the first half, 0 in the second. A few weeks ago, you probably saw this. There was a sweet little moment. Young fan had on a young fan's Wembanyama jersey. And there's Wembanyama. He's got a, normal size, or at least a Wembanyama size Wembanyama jersey. And after the game, sometimes players jersey swap. Sometimes players jersey swap with fans, each other. They decided to do one here. So it went viral. Big deal. Young fan says, here, Wemby, take my little Wemby jersey. And Wemby says, hey, little fella, take my big Wemby jersey. And it was a sweet moment. Man, the NBA loves stuff like this. A few weeks later, not even. The jersey. It's up for auction. You can buy it right now. And Wemby retweeted it when he saw it with a crying emoji. Like, ah. Yeah. That makes me sad. I thought I was giving something to somebody that they would enjoy and cherish and have forever. And instead, they just tried to flip it for a few bucks. How you feel about this, Bennett?
I completely agree with Wemby's sentiment. This is wrong on so many levels. And this is coming from someone who is a collector, has autographed memorabilia, has sold autographed memorabilia before. Here's where I come down on this. Wemby gave that to your kid, okay? Mm-hmm. First off, before I say this, like, I am totally against, like, parents using their kids to get autographs to resell. Like, that's where I want it. Like, that's just so wrong. Again, Wemby gave that to your kid. That's your kid's jersey. That ain't your jersey to sell, okay? That should be your kid's jersey. And if they want to sell it when they get older, their jersey that Wemby gave them, fine. But that ain't your jersey to sell. He gave that to your kid. I'm totally against it. I think it's so wrong. And it's why you see I have, like, some autograph stuff, which I have no problem with. Some, like, you'll hear collectors that get so upset about this kind of stuff. I don't care at all. Like, I have some autographed Grizzlies stuff. Like, I have an autographed Zebo jersey that I love, and it says to Bennett on it with his signature. Now, a lot of collectors hate that because they can't resell it when the players write your name on it. And it's why the players know this, by the way, because it's why, like, a lot of times when you go, like, in an autograph line, like, you'll see the players say, hey, what's your name? What's your name? They're not really doing that. I mean, maybe they are being nice, but they're not really doing that because they, like, care a bunch, like, what your name is. They're doing it so that they can write your name, like, to Gary or to Bennett on the jersey,
keep it off of eBay,
so you won't flip it. I don't think there's anything wrong with selling memorabilia and selling signatures. Like, people go to conventions, sports conventions, comic book conventions, card conventions, all that stuff to get autographs. You know, they pay to get in, they get their autographs, they sell the stuff that they get autographed. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But when it comes to kids and, like, using your kid as a prop to get something to resell, I'm against it.
I'm against it as well.
Yeah.
I'm against selling something like this. I would not want my kids to do it. But tell me if this is a counterpoint you respect. Hey, Bennett, life's tough out there. People got bills to pay. If you can flip a Wembanyama jersey for hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars, who are you, Bennett, to tell somebody they shouldn't do that? You don't know what their mortgage looks like, what their car note looks like, what their credit card debt looks like. How you respond to that?
Well, I bet, again, they were sitting pretty close, so I would be willing to bet that it's not. It's looking pretty good for that specific situation.
Wemby didn't have to go to Section 217 to swap jerseys with this Spurs, and it happened right on the court. I think that's a fine counterpoint by you. If you got enough money to get down on the court at an NBA game, you shouldn't be needing to sell jerseys to pay your bills. I'm with you on this one, Bennett.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, like, if my kid got a cool autograph, if my kid got, like, a Ja Morant autograph, like, dude, that's his. Like, I want him to have that. Now, don't mess it up. Like, let's put it in a frame or something, you know, until you get older. Let's not, like, color on it. But, yeah, I mean, I feel like that you want to you want your kids to have stuff to hold on to. Like, that's creating memories, man.
From my perspective, here's the way these things should go. You should never see an adult asking another adult for autograph. I'm not taking, like, I know there are people listening right now who, like, stand there and beg other adults for autographs. There are adults listening right now who beg other adults for autographs. I'm not trying to be mean. You know I love you. I find that bananas.
Well, you're okay, but you're in the minority there, dude.
I think that's crazy.
It's not. It's not. It's a whole multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar industry. Like, what are we talking about? People love autographs. Yeah, okay. Do I feel weird? Do I feel weird asking someone for an autograph? Yes, I rarely do it. Like, I mean, I wouldn't do it here because I'd probably get in trouble. But, like, I don't ask people for autographs, really. But, yeah, if I'm in, like, the situation. And
you're backpedaling pretty good right now.
What do you mean? I'm saying I'm for it. I'm pro asking for autographs.
I couldn't do it.
Oh, I'll do it.
Even worse than that, adults using kids to try to get the autograph so that they can put them on eBay. I hate that.
No, I hate that. That's wrong.
And if I were Steph Curry or Victor Wembanyama or Ja Morant, I would not sign for an adult under any circumstances. And I would sign for kids, but I would personalize everything. I would take the time, and if it meant I could only sign for 10 kids instead of 20, that's fine. But I'm going to say, what's your name, buddy? Okay. Thanks, Chris. Ja Morant. Thanks, Billy. Ja Morant. Thanks, Jalen. Ja Morant. I don't want to see I'm not just going to – I'm just – because when you were just out there signing in front of a hotel for these guys that are just going to throw these – they just got a book of pictures, and they're like, can you sign this one? Can you sign this? Those you're just creating – you're just printing money for people to jump on eBay with. Just – I don't want to do that. I'm not doing that. I'm not spending my time just put my name on something so you can take it to eBay. If this means something to you as a child that you could cherish forever, like my kids have autographs that they've gotten, autographs that I still have that I got when I was a kid. If these things mean something to you as a kid, fine. I'm happy to participate in that, but I'm not signing for adults, and I'm not trying to make you money on eBay. That would be my position as a professional athlete.
I mean, that's fair, and I think that's why, like what I said about them doing the personalized, signature, like to Gary or to Bennett. I think that's totally fine. And you'll see, there's videos out there of guys, like you mentioned, standing in front of the hotel, and a player will do something like that, and they'll bitch about it. I got no time for that. If somebody sends you, does a personalized, autographed jersey for you, frame it, hang it up in your house, enjoy it.
By the way, also on the list of weird things, standing outside of a hotel as an adult, waiting for another adult to walk out, asking him to put his signature on something that you're holding, and then complaining to him about how he did it is weirdo behavior. That's weird. You're weird if you do that. You're a weirdo.
I think that's weird.
You might not think so, right? But just trust me. Everybody you know who ain't exactly like you thinks you're weird if you do that. Now, you could find yourself some other weirdos. Mm-hmm. It's just like, if you're a drug addict in the depths of drug addiction, you could find some other drug addicts who don't think you're that bad, right? They'll be like, no, man, I don't think you got a problem. You got another bag? You can surround yourself with people who are involved in the same stuff as you. You'll all make each other feel better about your not so great set of circumstances, right? So you surround yourself with a bunch of other adults who are standing outside of hotels bitching at athletes about the way they sign autographs. You probably don't think you're that weird, but just trust me, buddy. The rest of us we're talking about you. The rest of us are talking about you. I feel bad for Wembanyama. He was clearly trying to create a moment for this kid, and what he found out is that it wasn't really a moment at all. It was just a money-making opportunity for somebody. Hey, better for Wemby to learn this at the age of 21 than later in life, huh?
That's true.
At least he learned it at a young age, and he can go through the rest of his life knowing exactly what the score is.
Number 5.
Oh, Amazon done did it now. They done did it now.
What's going on?
People are mad. People are mad at Amazon. Oh, Bennett, surprise, surprise.
Shocker.
Woke up today and the internet's mad at somebody. This time it's Amazon. They're ending a perk. Did you hear about them ending a perk?
What's the perk?
Oh, January 31st, it will be no more. If you want to take advantage of this perk, you better do it right now or at some point before January 31st, because on January 31st, it'll be no more. Here's the perk. Did you even know this was a perk? Did you know that Amazon had a try before you buy service that you could order clothes off of Amazon? They would send them to you. You don't have to pay for it. They're not charging your credit card. You could try it on. You'd be like, all right, this fits good. Amazon, go ahead, run my card. I'm going to keep this. Or you could be like, Amazon, I guess maybe I ate a little too much dressing on Thanksgiving. This medium don't fit no more. I'm going to send it back. Can you send me a large and then run my card? Or you could just send it back and say, Amazon, I don't like this shirt. I don't like the color. It don't look on me the way it looked in that picture. Take it back. And thank you for never charging my card. Amazon said we're done with that. No more trying it before you buy it. Come January 31st, you're going to have to buy it before you try it. And the internet got real upset about this yesterday. Are you upset about it? How you feel?
I feel that this is the reason that us as a society destroying brick and mortar clothing stores was the dumbest thing ever. Like, why did we do that? Why did we do that? It's a way. I haven't looked too much into it, but I think what you're going to find is that it's a way to make more money. Okay. We could have just gone to, I give Macy's, a store that I enjoy.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to the Oak Court Mall Macy's, which is going away, a store that I've frequented since I was a wee lad when it was Goldsmiths and then became Macy's, and now it's going away. And you know what was awesome about it? It was right down the street. I could go in, I could try on stuff. If it didn't fit, the right size is right there next to it, and it took 30 minutes. Now you got to wait days. You got to wait weeks. It's just we made life harder. We made life harder thinking that it was convenience, but we made life harder because now what's going to happen is you're going to order a jacket. It's going to come in the mail. You're going to try it on. It doesn't fit. You got to send it back, get a new one, and it's going to take weeks. Why do we do that to ourselves? Why did we do that to ourselves as humans? Why? What was the point of it?
Okay, Bennett, I think the point is people figured out this is a way to make more money. Everything starts there. I would argue we did make our life more convenient because you could still do what it is you love to do, but you can also do what I love to do, which is never move. You know, I could order that same jacket right at my phone, or I could go get that jacket. The perfect example. I'm in New York. I don't have a coat with me. It's cold. I walk to work every day. I freeze every day. I could just keep freezing, or I could walk to Columbus Circle and get a coat. Or I could order one on Amazon and have it delivered to me at my hotel or back home. I have all the options in the world. We can still do what you want to do, but we can also do what I like to do. I argue Amazon has made our life better, has made our life more convenient. I don't work for them, so, you know, I don't have those complaints. I gather it ain't the best place to work, but I don't work for them. I just get them to bring boxes to my house. I'm pro Amazon, broadly speaking, and as it pertains to this, because at some point, Americans, shut up. Jesus Christ. To your point, Bennett, once upon a time, if you wanted anything, a jacket, toilet paper, deodorant, a toothbrush, a baseball bat, you had to get in your car, drive somewhere, and go get it. Now I can get all of those things and anything else you can think of in 24 hours. If I decide right now I need a lawnmower, they'll bring a lawnmower to my house. If I decide, one night I thought I needed a shovel. They brought it to me the next day. I ain't never even opened it, but I got it. I didn't have to leave my office to get a shovel brought to my front door. And this is amazing when you think about it. You ever need a pair of socks? Just you got a phone? They'll bring them to you tomorrow. And if you live in a certain part of the country, they bring them to you today. All right? And we're still complaining because they won't let you try it on before they run your card. That's what we're complaining about? What?
Whatever. I'm fine with it. I don't care about that. This has opened up a broader discussion of us losing our ways as humans.
We've lost our ways.
We've lost our ways.
I agree with that. I know we've lost our ways, but I'm just saying I like the idea that if I need deodorant, I don't have to go somewhere to get it. They'll bring it to my front door. I enjoy that.
Okay. Let me give you a counterpoint to this
man.
online shopping phenomenon that we love so much.
Go ahead, counterpoint. I'll counterpoint you.
I needed a sled last week. It snowed. I needed a sled immediately, and everyone was saying, well, just order one off Amazon. Just order one off Amazon. I tried to order one off Amazon, and guess what? It wasn't going to get here in time for the snow. They were, I guess they're backed up or something like that. It wasn't going to get here in time for the snow. I needed a sled for that day, okay?
Yeah.
I had to go to a store and find a sled. Shout out Ace Hardware.
Is that what you like to do anyway? Isn't that what you love to do anyway? What are you complaining about?
It is what I love to do. Dude,
then why are you complaining?
And listen, I know you don't want to hang out with anybody, but like we need to be around each other, man. Like we need to be in the store. We need to say hello to our neighbor. We need to hold stuff. We need to try stuff on. We need to look at stuff, man. We're isolating ourselves from each other.
Bennett, you made some good points there. I do agree we need human interaction. I don't agree that I need to be in a sled store to get it.
I had great conversations in there. We were talking about the sleds where we were going to go ride up and down the hills while we're waiting in line. Like, it was great. I was like, man, I'm a part of something here. This is awesome. We're losing that. We're losing that. We need to bring it back. Brick and mortar, physical media, keep it all alive.
I have noticed people don't feel like they're a part of sled stores anymore. I have noticed that.
Yeah.
There was a big sled store community. Once upon a time, I heard about, and that's gone the way of the dodo bird. No sled store community anymore. Bennett, I don't need to be in a sled store. And if you want Amazon to bring you a sled the next day, how about don't wait until the whole country's covered in snow? Okay?
Well, that's fair. I mean, that's fair.
There was a couple of years ago, they were like, oh, man, it's going to get so cold from Washington State down to the deep south.
Yep.
Oh, buddy, we're going to be covered in ice. You need to cover your outdoor faucets. You need to get some faucet covers. And I was like, well, I know what to do.
Yeah.
I ain't going to Lowe's. I know that. And so I just jumped on Amazon. And like you, I encountered.
You got those faucet covers?
Well, of course, I got them eventually. But, I couldn't get them tomorrow. And you want to know why? Everybody wanted them tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like Taylor Swift tickets went on sale. All right?
And you know what I did? Went to Lowe's and bought them the night before.
Fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that you can still do that if you want to. Why can't you be glad that I don't have to do that because I don't want to? I'm happy for you. Why can't you be happy for me?
I am happy for you. I am happy for you. But it just this whole thing about the ordering stuff and trying it on to see how it works and then sending it back and stuff like that. I'm like, man, we had it all. We had it all. Why did we get rid of it? We could have done this. Could have been a 30 minutes solution. You could have gone up to your local Macy's or wherever the hell and get your shirt and try it on, and then it didn't fit. You get the one right next to it, but. We lost that. We lost our ways.
You remember how when we were talking about the Grizzlies earlier, and I said, Bennett, if I told you John Morant would miss X amount of games and Marcus Smart would miss X amount of games and Vince Williams would only play, 3 and Gigi would miss them all for the first half of the season and the Grizzlies would still be 26-15 through 41. If I'd have told you that before the season started, under these circumstances, while starting 2 rookies, the Grizzlies would still be 26-15, alone in third in the West, halfway mark of the season. You would take that, and you would feel silly for complaining about it. Mm-hmm. All right? Similarly, what if I told you 20 years ago, 30 years ago, there will be this thing that exists, and anything you can think of, Bennett, anything you can think of, outside of sleds in the dead of winter, anything you can think of, you can go on your phone or computer, click it a couple of times, and somebody will bring it to your front door. And then take a picture of it and send you an email immediately to let you know it's there. All right? Mm-hmm. This will be your reality. And Bennett, someday, though that will be people's reality, anything they want, anywhere in this country, you can get it very quickly without even leaving your home. They'll bring it to your front door and tell you it's here. It's here. Even though that will be people's reality, on January 16, 2025, there will be a segment of the population genuinely upset with this company that does all of these things because they've decided they don't want to send you clothes for free anymore for you to try on before you purchase them. They've just decided, hey, before we take the trouble to send you all this stuff, we think you should pay for it first. And then if you don't want it, send it back and we'll give you all your money back. How ridiculous does that sound? What are you complaining about? Amazon's still doing all the hard work. They're still doing all the hard work. You're doing all the easy work. What are you complaining about?
It's fair. I agree with that. But what did we lose in the process?
Bennett, we've lost stuff. I'm not arguing with you about what we've lost. But I'm more interested in focusing on what we've gained. And what we've gained is the ability to get ankle socks delivered to our doormat in 24 hours. And that's not something I'm interested in giving up. You know me, I've always been a glass half full guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I know that.
I'm willing to look at the positive. Have we lost something? Have we lost something in the sled store community? Sure, undeniable. But we've gained something, and the thing that we've gained is if I want mouthwash delivered to my front door by tomorrow, they'll do that for me. I don't have to go to CVS to get Scope. All right? Yeah. They'll bring it to my front door tomorrow. I'm going to focus on that. I appreciate Amazon. They made my life easier. Do I buy a bunch of shit I don't need? Yes. Do I have 70 things of deodorant right now sitting under my sink? Yes. Because I subscribed and I forgot to unsubscribe and they just won't stop bringing in. And nobody needs this much deodorant.
That's fine.
All right? But broadly speaking, Amazon's, I think, improved my life more than most things in this world. Certainly more than most people.
Good.
I'm going to appreciate them. I find the whole benefit that they were offering unnecessary, and if you're out there complaining about it, you're probably the same type of person that's complaining about the Grizzlies being 26-15 through 41. Be back with GP's Carryout.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals takes it straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South. I'm in New York City. Ben Doyle back in the Bill Ford Tough Studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Let's wrap this show up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but we mostly focused on your Memphis Grizzlies after another victory last night in San Antonio. Down double digits in the first half, win by double digits after 4 quarters. The moment of the game. Yeah, I know it didn't count. I know it's not in the box score, but Victor Wembanyama got dunked on, put on a poster by John Morant. Yeah, it came after a whistle. Some people took issue with it. Not me, not around these parts. I just like to watch what I like to watch, right?
Yep.
Whether it counts or not, I like to watch what I like to watch. Good car crash is fun. A nice fist fight. I see it all in that For You tab. Last night, all I watched was John Morant dunking on Victor Wembanyama. Before the whistle, after the whistle, I enjoy it all just the same.
What's today's biggest game?
Oh, it's the best in the East against the best in the West. Cavaliers Thunder. Rematch of that game we played in Cleveland the other day. This time we're going to do it in Oklahoma City. 6:30 tip. It's on TNT or True TV, or you can watch it on that Max app. Paycom Center, downtown OKC. The Thunder, 1.5-point favorites at home. Total's 232.5. Bennett, how you going to act? Think you can win a bet? Jesus Lord.
My God. What the hell, Kansas? Like, that's shameful, dude.
You didn't trust Hilton Magic, and you paid the price others before you have paid for not trusting Hilton Magic.
That's shameful.
You paid the price.
Shameful, and shame on me for rolling with the freaking Kansas Jayhawks. Like, that was gross. That was gross.
They took your heart in 2008, then they took your money last night.
Yeah, that was gross. Shame on me. Tonight, I will be rolling with the Oklahoma City Thunder at home. I know the Cavs beat them in Cleveland. I think the Thunder are really good, and they're going to get revenge tonight. I don't really have any way to break it all down for you. I just think the Thunder are awesome at home. They're 17-2 at home this season, so I think they're going to win tonight by 3.
Thunder 17-2 at home this season. Bennett 178, 179-4 in his career. Negative 20.3 units. We'll see if he can get back to his. We'll just see if he can get a win. Let's keep it. Let's short-term goals. We'll see if Bennett can be competitive tonight. Tip-off 6:30. You can watch it on TNT.
What are we watching on TV?
Oh, it's here. Almost. Not yet, but almost. You know what's tomorrow, right?
What?
Food Truck Friday, but also Season 2 of Severance starts tomorrow.
Oh,
Apple
I'm excited.
TV Plus, Season 2 of Severance. Have you gone back and watched Season 1? I saw some people were going back and watching Season 1. I ain't got that kind of time.
I know. I don't have that kind of time. The thing about these shows now, that obviously, because I think the Season 1 of Severance came out, over 2 years ago? It's been a while. They do a good job now of I need that 3-minute recap before the new season starts. You know what I mean? Because like you said, nobody has time to go back and watch Season 1. I might watch the last episode of Season 1 just to get a little refresher. But what I really want is the 3-minute montage right before episode 1 of the new season to just fill me back in, and I'll be good to go.
There's always these content creators out there creating types of stuff and they're throwing it on YouTube. I bet you could find you a nice Season 1 recap of Severance on YouTube somewhere. I'll watch one of those if I stumble into it. I'll go read the Wikipedia plot summaries. I'll read a good Wikipedia plot summary just to refresh some names and faces and storylines. But I enjoyed Season 1 of Severance. I don't know what's going on. I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. I don't even know that I'm supposed to know what's going on.
No, it's a mystery. It's a mystery. The show is a mystery. That's what it is. You're not supposed to know what's going on. You're supposed to make you think.
I'm thinking. The only thing I keep thinking is I don't know what's going on.
I do think it's a cool concept. And man, Ben Stiller, he still acts. So it's not post-acting career, but he's created some really good stuff. And this show is amazing. He's done a really good job with it. I saw him. He's been doing the interview circuit. And did you see the pop-up that they did in New York City the other day?
I heard about it, but I don't think I
so
enough
it
to
was
look at it. I don't know.
I guess it was at the train station, and they got a big glass box, right, with an office desk and chairs, and brought the actual actors from the show to, and there's tons of people around taking pictures and stuff like that. Brought them, put them in the glass box, and they're just acting like they're working in the office. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I didn't see that.
It was pretty cool.
They're always doing wild stuff in the subway, in addition to setting people on fire. They do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have the Severance thing. I saw Jimmy Fallon and Bad Bunny in the subway the other day. I mean, I didn't see them. I saw them on YouTube in the subway the other day doing one of those little Jimmy Fallon, Bad Bunny things. So a lot of stuff going on down there underground. You should check it out sometimes. Severance Season 2.
Yeah, man.
The first episode launched tomorrow. It got wonderful reviews, Season 1. I'm a fan. I'm confused, but I'm a fan. Looking forward to Season 2 getting underway. The episodes drop, I guess, late tonight. January 17th, that's the release date.
What's the best thing we've read?
Kevin O'Connor, Yahoo Sports, had an interesting column yesterday on Steph Curry and Golden State. Just about how it looks like this thing ain't going where anybody wants it to go, at least anybody connected to the Golden State franchise. It doesn't look like Steph and Draymond are in position to even compete for a Western Conference title. And if that's the case, it might be time for Steph Curry to ask for a trade and get out of there. Never a shortage of people telling professional athletes what they should do.
Right.
I don't care what Steph Curry does. But Kevin O'Connor made some compelling points about why if Steph ever wants to play on a relevant team again, he might need to leave San Francisco. So if you want to read that, you can find it Yahoo Sports.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, it'll be Friday. We'll look back at Tigers Temple, get ready for Spurs Grizz round 2. Jessica Benson will join me in the first hour. Should be a fun show. Looking forward to it already. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll enjoy mine. Meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.